Hi, I'm Stewart Spinks and welcome to episode 373 of my podcast, Beekeeping Short and Sweet. I've spent a bit of time at the workshop sorting through old super frames and trying to decide what's the best way forward in terms of cleaning them or not. Do we spend time and money boiling them, or is it better all round to consign them to the bonfire and start over? Beekeeping Short and Sweet, a beekeeping podcast for the inquisitive beekeeper with a short attention span. A beekeeper, in fact, just like me. This week's podcast is brought to you, in part, by High Five Multi-Guard. So,
when you need a little peace of mind that your bees are safe from dangers of all kind, pesticides, hornets, wasps and mice are no match for High Five. The High Five Multi-Guard is the best one in town. Keeps your bees safe all year round. The ultimate solution has been found. It's High Five.
The High Five Multi-Guard fits nearly all beehives and makes beekeeping much easier. High Five.
Hi everyone, another week drifts by. Actually, it feels more like a sprint. I'm not really too sure where the days disappear to at this time of the year, to be honest. I thought it was going to calm down. I've had another very busy week, lots happening behind the scenes here at the Norfolk Honey Company, as those of you joining me on the Coaching Plus tier on my Patreon page will already know about. If you want to hear all the latest news and plans, then do head over to the Coaching Plus tier, where I'm currently sharing some very exciting but secret news about next year. It's those plans that are currently driving my workload and focus. It's going to have a major effect on the next season's beekeeping, and I'll have some really exciting videos, I hope, crossing my fingers, to share with you in the new year. All of that is to come. For now, I'm keeping those plans under wraps mostly and sharing just with a few other folk. It's kind of appropriate as I'm getting quite a number of things under wraps as we are just approaching December and the elf on the shelf will no doubt make his mark. So, what's on your Christmas present wish list this year? Personally, I have a couple of items very specific for my beekeeping and particularly for the honey room. First up is a stainless steel pipe. Now I know it doesn't sound terribly exciting or actually very beekeeping focused, but it's going to really help me. You see, it's a stainless steel honey barrel pipe. It fits to my pump and sits on the side of the barrel, being fixed to the side of the barrel, and it allows the honey to be pumped out of the barrel without any sudden suction issues. What I mean by that is that up till now I've had to hand hold a flexible pump hose in the barrel while the pump is working. The challenge with this is that if I get the hose too close to the bottom of the barrel, its suction pulls the hose to the bottom of the barrel, it attaches itself like a limpet on a rock and drags the flexible hose suddenly into the barrel and down into the honey. Here I immediately start to fight it and attempt to reach over and turn the pump off before it pulls the hose and the pump off its trolley and more than likely drag me into the barrel of honey. Okay, I've maybe been a little bit over dramatic there with the description, but certainly the hose gets sucked into the honey and then I'm left with the task of pulling it back out and having far too long a length of hose covered in honey that I've then got to handle. So my steel pipe attachment, it's from Lyson, if anybody's interested, will go a long way to preventing this and at the same time give me more control over the pumping process. I use our barrels to settle and clean the honey before pumping it into our settling tank. It works really well and means we don't have to use fine strainers either at the point of extraction or when we pump the honey into the 100 kilo settling tank in preparation for bottling. Any wax that's drawn into the barrel naturally floats on top of the honey, and any debris that sinks is held, obviously, on the bottom of the barrel. As long as the hose is held at a position well above that debris on the inner base of the barrel, the honey comes out lovely and clean. We've only really just been able to get to grips with this system, and it obviously relies on not allowing the hose to get too close to the base of the barrel. Otherwise, debris gets sucked up, and we do then have to use a fine strainer. The stainless steel pipe will allow me to fix its position at the bottom and not have to continually adjust it or hold it manually, at least not until the final few kilos of honey are due to come out. I don't mind fine straining that last little batch, as we would have already pumped out at least 250, maybe 270 kilos of honey for processing. The other item on my wish list is a hopper for my bottling machine. The Swente Dana Apimatic bottling machine that I have is normally connected to our 100 kilo settling tank. Just occasionally I have a request for a few jars of a specific type of honey. Maybe it's heather or maybe it's hawthorn, for instance, and we do try to keep that honey separate. I don't put this small batch honey into barrels. It's kept separately in buckets, and the buckets would fit very nicely into a 20-litre hopper. The hopper basically replaces the hose that feeds honey from the settling tank and sits directly on top of the filling machine. I am a little unsure as to how well the stand that I have might take that extra weight, but I'm taking a guess and hoping that Swente have done the tests and know that it will all stand up to the rigours of being filled with honey while on the tabletop stand. So those are my two items sitting on the wish list. Whether or not it happens is another thing. I'm often told anything but beekeeping equipment when the topic of Christmas presents arises. We'll see. If not, then perhaps it'll be an old man cardigan. It's certainly becoming appropriate, that's for sure. We still have a little while to wait before we see what we get, and I hope that you've all got your letters off to Santa in good time. Meanwhile, back at the workshop and maintaining the theme of Christmas, I've had the elves hard at work this week. I'm bound to get into trouble calling Steph and Joe elves, but it's only going to cause me a problem if they listen to the podcast. So, we've been looking at cleaning frames, and this is the main topic of this week's podcast, specifically boxes and boxes and boxes of super frames, something around 180 boxes of frames. Each box has 9 frames on average, and so that comes out close to 1,600 frames in total. Now, not all of them are going to need cleaning. They won't need the full cleaning treatment, but a significant proportion will, unfortunately. For me, it's time-consuming and actually quite costly in terms of fuel used. We use a propane gas stove to heat the water for boiling. So the process is pretty straightforward. You might have seen the video that we published. We cut out the wax, tie the frames together in bundles of 9 or 10, dunk them in near boiling water that's got washing soda and washing up liquid in it. Take them out, give them a quick rinse with cold water, and stack them to dry. And I've just sat here and looked at what I typed, and it all seems so simple, so why wouldn't you do it? Well, there's a lot of potential issues with this setup and tasks, so I thought I'd have a discussion with myself on the podcast to argue maybe for and against the process. Is there an alternative maybe? Well, maybe, but it's not the greatest solution, I suspect, because the solution I'm thinking of is a bonfire. If I followed that route, I would need a pallet of Langstroth medium frames to replace all of the discarded frames. And of course, I would also need fresh foundation. These don't come out cheap, so careful consideration is required before I do anything rash or impulsive. We ran a test during the week, trying to cut out and prep a box of 9 frames, as best we could, ready to go into the boiling vat of water. It took around 14 minutes to have them ready in a condition that I was happy with. Now, I don't think all of the supers will need all of the frames cutting out, but many of them will. And the reason for this is because quite a few haven't been used on hives for a number of years, and the comb is old and tatty. Some of it has a little bit of mould in it. Others are heavily damaged with comb crushed or smashed or simply unusable. So we've got around 180 boxes with frames in. Of these, let's say 2/3 need cleaning, and that's probably a fair assessment. It might be more. So that's 120 boxes with 9 frames in each box on average. That's a lot of frames. In fact, my calculator tells me it's 1,080 frames. If each box takes me 15 minutes to prepare, again on average, that would be a total of 30 hours of preparatory work before we get into the boiling process. Each bundle of frames takes maybe a minute to tie. Not long really, until you consider there are 120 boxes, so that's another 2 hours just tying up frames. It feels like I'm already convincing myself that the bonfire is a really good idea. Working on the basis that frames are going to cost around £1 per frame assembled and wired, I can get around 1,000-ish frames on a pallet. So actually, I might need just 1 pallet of frames to see me through the next season, and probably beyond. But hang on a second, before I rush to the bonfire, what about the cleaning process? Gas is expensive for sure, but it's not £1,000 expensive, certainly not so much that it makes the boiling process untenable from the outset. Once the frames are in the barrel for boiling, that takes around 5 minutes to give them a really good agitation to get the propolis and wax off. Oh, and I forgot to say, washing soda has gone through the roof in cost as well. Just a couple of years ago, I was picking it up for around 75p, certainly no more than £1. Now it's priced at £2.35. Crazy price increases, really. It's not a huge cost in the big scheme of things, but we use maybe 3 or 4 bags per wash and get maybe half a day out of it before we need to renew it. So there's probably £100 to £150 in cost for washing soda alone. The single biggest factor, though, in all of this is probably my time. The boiling process is another 10 hours of time. Fine if I have someone helping me, but it's not always the case. And this is where we hit the wall, my time. And of course the big question, do I have the time available to spend working on these frames when maybe there are more pressing jobs that need my attention? And for those of you on the Patreon Coaching Plus tier, you will know I have some very important jobs lined up with my latest project. I'm not sure that I have the time. Maybe if Santa sent me a dozen of his elves to help out, we could get it done in a few days, but the bottleneck would always be the boiling process. No matter how many frames were scraped and cleaned, there would always be the need to dunk the frames for a set time to get that propolis and wax off the frames. On the other hand, if the frames were scraped thoroughly and as much wax and propolis was removed, maybe the boiling process would be reduced by a minute or 2 per stack of frames. And that's a huge time saving for 120 boxes of frames. I guess I'm kind of torn between taking the easy but potentially more costly route of buying more frames in this time and devoting a few more days over the coming weeks to preparing frames more thoroughly. Perhaps there's a halfway house that I can feel comfortable with and kind of sit on the fence with a decision. I can hear you all laughing at me as I duck the decision this time round. It's just so difficult. I'm going to think on it a little bit longer, and in the meantime perhaps have another look at the process of cleaning these frames to see if there's any way that I can improve the time management of that job. Watch this space, as they say. In other news, I've had another week of popping out to chat with fellow beekeepers. This time it was the lovely beekeepers at the Colchester Beekeeping Association that hosted me, and they managed to stay awake long enough to hear me talk about various ways of queen rearing. What was great was that as I discussed the various methods of queen rearing that I've used, and let's face it, if you've ever lost a swarm, you're queen rearing, but I found myself getting quite excited about the new beekeeping season and giving some of these techniques another try. I know it's only the beginning of the winter period, but it's great to have something to look forward to. It was, however, another late night home. Various road closures were in place once more, so the risk of turning back into a pumpkin was very real. But I got back just in time though, so no damage done. My thanks to Sarah at the Colchester Beekeepers Association for getting me organised, and a hello to Tom and his wife, whose name I'm sorry I didn't get, but who are fully signed up members of my Patreon page and get all of my content as it's published. Tom, it was lovely to chat to you and your wife. Well, that's it for this week. For all of you who haven't yet signed up to my Patreon page, I, together with Steph, have been creating beekeeping content for many years now, and if you're looking for some straightforward, down-to-earth tips and techniques, help and advice, then do take a look at my Patreon page. We have over 1,600 individual beekeeping posts, videos and podcasts filled with useful and timely help and advice. My approach is pragmatic and calm, sometimes entertaining, but always with help and support for beekeepers at the heart of what I do. I keep my videos short and concise wherever possible. No waffle, no flannel, just honest beekeeping advice from years of keeping bees. Take a look and join me for the new 2025 beekeeping season. It'll cost you less than a jar of honey. Head over to Google and search for Patreon and the Norfolk Honey Company.